Morning world, it's about 9 a.m. in the morning on the 14th of March 2017, Bermuda time. It's about midday UK time. Adjust this for wherever you are in the world. I've been studying astrology 40 years now, and I've come up with a conclusion that astrology is different to any of the other form of divinatory art, because almost all of the other divinatory arts rely almost exclusively on intuition, whereas astrology is a mixture of mathematics, geometry, symbology and intuition, and without all four of those astrology doesn't work. I tend to be a little bit more cautious and sometimes even suspicious about the intuitive, primarily because as an astrologer I'm already off planet enough, and if I start going on too much about the woo-woo stuff and the cosmic stuff, people aren't going to take me seriously at all. Nevertheless, my gut instinct is playing me up something rotten in this last 24 hours, and I think that something's brewing, and I do think it's going to be today, so I'm sticking my neck out on this one. So I thought I'd have a look at both the geocentric, earth-based astrological patterns and the heliocentric patterns as well, because heliocentric astrology, where the sun is in the centre of the horoscope, not the earth, actually goes a long way to describing some of the patterns and influences that affect us at a non-human phenomenal level, as in earthquakes, weather patterns, volcanoes, things like this. In the heliocentric chart, the sun is opposite Chiron. In the geocentric chart, the sun is conjunct Chiron. In both cases, both the sun and Chiron are strongly squaring Saturn in the sky. Straight away, that makes me look at issues around structure and rigidity and fracturing, fragmenting. Add to this that in the geocentric chart, Jupiter is strongly opposite Uranus and squaring Pluto. Over the last 30-35 years I've made a study of earthquakes. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to access a lot of information from the American Bureau of Seismology to get precise epicenters and timings to the second of major earthquakes that have resulted in large loss of life or have been very large on the Richter scale, looking for some type of correlation from an astrological perspective. And whilst you cannot say that certain astronomical patterns or astrological meanings cause earthquakes, there is quite a correlation between certain planets and geophysical phenomena. Primarily the position of Jupiter, which doesn't really surprise me because Jupiter gives out twice as much heat and light as it takes in from the sun, almost 3 times as much. It's got an amazing magnetic field which regulates the rest of the solar system, and Jupiter's bigger than all the other planets put together. Jupiter soaks up the comets that might otherwise bombard the Earth. So Jupiter does have a gravitational effect. You can hear it on the shortwave radio. So if you can hear it on the radio, it's hitting us and our planet. Therefore, it does have an effect. I find that Jupiter in aspect to Uranus is the single biggest aspect, the single strongest aspect, and the most common aspect in geophysical phenomena of a large scale. With Jupiter opposite Uranus and squaring Pluto, I think, yeah, something's brewing, and some stage between now and the end of this aspect, which will be around August, September, there will be a big manifestation of this in some shape or form, bigger than normal, a big earthquake or a big volcano or a big undersea movement, something like this. Thing is, if I look at the heliocentric chart, which is about the position where planets don't go retrograde, which is with the sun at the centre, Jupiter is now approaching opposition to Uranus. It's still a few months away, heliocentrically, but it's exactly squaring Pluto right now and over the coming few weeks. So that says to me that where we are now is prime time. Come back right now to the moment. In the sky at the moment, the moon is in mid-Libra. Later today, the moon will pass in the same position as Jupiter. It will also pass opposite Uranus and square Pluto, all within the next 24 hours. This makes me think that the words of earthquake and volcano are going to be dominant in people's minds and in the world gestalt over the coming 24 hours. And if nothing happens geophysically, and here's hoping that it doesn't, especially as I'm sat at the moment on top of an extinct volcano in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, 1,000 miles from anywhere. Whoops. If it doesn't happen geophysically, you can be sure that anyone who's been going through a lot of big changes in this last year, especially a lot of suppression and a lot of over-the-top situations, then today's going to be one of those days where it's going to be a bit like a bullet point, like a scalpel going into a wound, like a laser. And there's going to be an upsurge of like hot lava. So a few people are going to erupt today and say or do something they'd later regret. Take this out of the geophysical and out of the long term and into the individual and into people's lives. Folks, today is a volatile day. Today is a day where it'd be very easy to do or say something you later regret. Today is a day to count to 10 and smile. Remember, my catchphrase, negativity can't exist with us humour. Catch you later, world. Bye.